I'm back. Hi. I'm finally back in Milwaukee after being gone in New York for 6 months, and I am so pumped to get started on working on some DIY stuff again. If you're new here, my name's Marcel. But if you've been following along for a while, I just want to say thanks for sticking around since I barely posted anything while I was working a bajillion hours on that TV show and had no time for anything else.
That's show business, ladies.
But that's all about to change since I'm here again. I'm still not 100% and don't feel totally like myself yet, so I'm going to start with something small, which is a little project in the guest room. I still like the vibe in there, it just kind of feels a little boring with all those white walls. So to make it more fun, I thought I would do something with the ceiling. When I first worked on this room, I installed a headboard out of some 1x2s, which I still think looks good. So I'm thinking of painting the ceiling the same color as those 1x2s and adding a little trim molding up there to jazz it up a bit. So if you're looking for a little inspo to update your room without going full on, stick around to see how it turns out. First thing I want to do is measure how far down I want the paint to go on the wall. So before I bore you with too much talking, let's get into it.
Let's go.
I started by marking how far down I wanted the paint to go on the wall. I decided to go down about 5 inches, so I made a mark with a pencil every 2 feet. I did this around the whole room on all 4 walls. And then I went in with the painter's tape to make a nice clean line. Marking every 2 feet really helped me keep that tape line super straight. Okay, last piece, ready for the next step. Alright, everything is taped off, so it is time to paint. I started by cutting it with a paintbrush on all the corners. I'm using the color lambskin that I painted the headboard by Benjamin Moore. I'll have that and everything else linked in the description box if you want to check it out. I also cut in around the light fixture. I usually would take this down, but I was being lazy, so I just taped it off and wrapped the rest in plastic to protect it. Once I had those 2 coats on, I went in with a 3/8 inch snap roller to get the rest of the ceiling. I used a larger roller for the ceiling and a smaller one for the walls. Same 3/8 inch snap for both. I always take the tape off before the paint dries. That way the tape doesn't pull off any of the new paint that I just put up. This is the tiniest tape ball ever. Okay, the paint is dry, which I'm totally into. It makes it feel just a little bit warmer in here. Now all I have to do is prep for the 1x2, so that way it all just feels a little bit more finished. I wanted to figure out where I was going to be attaching the boards, so I started by using my stud finder and marking them out with some painter's tape. That way I knew exactly where to nail later. Then it was time to measure. I needed these dimensions to be exact, so I asked Ben to help me out. From there we just measured all 4 walls from corner to corner. I was sent this laser measuring tape from Acbot to try out, and it's the fanciest tape measure I've ever used. It goes up to 16 feet, has a laser that gives pretty accurate measurements, and a digital screen that gives you all the info. I like that it also shows measurements on the 8s on the backside since I'm bad at math. Overall, I think it's pretty good. There's a link with a discount code in the description box for a limited time if you want to look into getting one yourself. Yo. I just got back from getting all the 1x2s and unloaded them into the garage. I was going to talk about everything in there, but it is too cold, so I'm back in my truck where it's warm. I also woke up with a stuffy nose today, which probably means I'm getting sick, so that's cool.
Oh, really? That sucks.
But anyway, I needed to get at least 10-foot boards to avoid having seams up there, so I decided to go with PVC pieces. They're way less wonky than the wood ones, and since the ceiling already isn't straight, I don't want to add to the wonkiness. Now I just have to measure and cut them, and then I can do everything else inside where it's warm. I marked the 1x2s at the dimensions we got for each wall and cut 45-degree angles on both sides so all the pieces would fit together at the corners. I also did a light sand so the primer would adhere to the PVC. I didn't film this part because it was just too cold outside. I did those 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of the Benjamin Moore paint that I used on the ceiling. Once those were dry, Ben helped me install the 1x2s. I used a level in my nail gun to attach them to the wall. I also put a little bit of liquid nails to make them super secure. I ended up using a smaller level since it allowed me to use it over each section I was nailing in. And then it was just going all around the room to get them all up. Once everything was in place and solid, I filled the nail holes with some wood putty. I also caulked the corners to make them seamless. After that, I did a quick sand to smooth that putty down, and one last coat of paint to finish it off. Okay, I just finished putting the room back together. It somehow feels brighter, but also warmer and cozier. I don't know, let's take a look. It's crazy how that one little tweak made the room feel so much better, in my opinion. I know I love a painted ceiling, but adding that trim board to it really is the chef's kiss. Now that headboard feels like it isn't just floating on the wall. I like to keep things minimal so that 1x2 is just enough detail for the molding. The fun part is that you can make this as ornate as you want if you end up doing this yourself. Anyway, let me know if this is something that you'd consider doing in your house. If you want to go way back and see what this room looked like when we first moved in, I'll link that video below. It's one of my first videos, so I'm sure I'm super awkward in it, but that room has come a long way, so check it out if you want to see.
No!
Thanks again for watching if you're still here at this point. I'm so happy to be working on the house again. Like, subscribe, and all that other stuff, and definitely check out that link to that fancy tape measure if you want a little discount. And yeah, I think that's it. So now that I'm back, I will see you soon. Bye. The fun part is that you can make this as My mouth is so dry. Oof, I am not used to being on camera. What am I saying? Get it together.